Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to day 3 of our 30 Sits in 30 Days Meditation for Recovery course, as presented by the Wise Friends Network, a guide to a Buddhist meditative practice as it applies to recovery from addictions of all kind, whether you're dealing with addictions with drugs, alcohol, or harmful behaviors. This 30 Sits in 30 Days course and is intended to help give you the foundational practice that you need uh, to find freedom from the suffering of addiction on your recovery journey. So, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to do 30 sits in 30 days. Thank you for committing the time to learning this life changing skill. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. And yeah, and thank you just for being you. So, in today's practice for day 3, we'll continue our exploration of the first foundation of mindfulness of breath and body. I promise we'll move on to other practices soon of the heart practices of loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, equanimity, as well as forgiveness practices. But early in the 30 sits in 30 days, we want you to learn this foundational concentration practice. And it's from this foundational concentration practice of the breath and body that we're able to calm our minds, calm our body, and then we're able to expand the practice to other dedicated um, practices to relieve ourselves of the suffering of addiction. And I do promise you that if you if you commit to the intention and the commitment and the dedication of 30 sits in 30 days, that these practices, these 2,600-year-old practices, are a systematic way to retrain our hearts and our minds to free ourselves from the suffering of addiction. So wherever you're at, whoever you are, this stuff can save your life. It can change. It can definitely change it for the better. It's changed my life, and it's changed the life of countless people in recovery communities of all types. So thank you again for joining us. So in today's sit, we're going to do a sit for 10 minutes. I know, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Day 1, we did 5 minutes. We progressed to 7, and now we're doing essentially what most people would consider the baseline of on a daily practice. You should be meditating at least 10 minutes a day, if possible. And if you can only do the 7, do the 7. If you can only do the 5, do the 5. Figure out what your baseline, as far as what the absolute minimum amount of meditation you could do on a daily basis, and commit to that. And early in the practice, it's much more important to just commit to a daily habit rather than the length or the quantity of the practice. So we can work on length and quantity later. For the first 30 days, we really just want to get used to meditating every day. So, but enough of me. We'll be doing a 10-minute practice today. First foundation of mindfulness of breath and body, very similar to the last 2 days, but we're going to extend it to 10 minutes. So there'll be one bell to signify the beginning and 3 to signify the end. If you've not done so already, feel free to find a comfortable place to sit. And though we've not talked about it before, your posture should be erect, alert, but relaxed and at ease, where you can be attentive and alert for this practice, but at the same time, not too rigid or stiff. We want, and as a general guideline, if you'd like, you can kind of imagine, in a seated position. Imagine a string being attached through your spine, pulling up through the top of your head, and a nice straight posture. Not too rigid and stiff, but alert. Because part of the concentration practice is about learning to be right here, right now, in the present time experience. So, that said, we'll begin this meditation as we do with most of our sits with 2 deep intentional breaths, just to relax our body, relax our mind, and let our nervous system know that it's time to meditate, it's time to be present, and it's time to be right here, right now. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose, deep breath out through the mouth, another deep breath in through the nose, and a deep breath out through the mouth. And at this point, just allow your breathing to be natural and at ease. Find whatever the cadence and rhythm of your body is this evening, this morning, whenever you may be listening to this. And just allow your body to breathe. Allow your body to breathe. Your body knows how to breathe. Just let it breathe. There's no need to push or pull the breath. Just relax into the present time experience right here, right now, as it is. As I breathe in, ever mindful, I breathe in. As I breathe out, ever mindfully, I breathe out. These are the very basic instructions of the Buddha. As we breathe in, we're ever mindful of the breath entering the body. As we breathe out, we're ever present of air exiting the body. And with this practice of this first foundation of mindfulness, take a moment to check in with your body and sense, where do you feel the breath coming and going most naturally for this concentration practice? Do you feel it at the base of the nostrils, with the cool air entering, the warm air exiting? Do you feel more with the rising and falling of the chest and the upper back? Rising, falling. Or do you feel it more when in the belly? Are you a belly breather? With the expansion and contraction of the abs, the belly, expanding, contracting. Just be mindful that there's no wrong anchor for this practice as we begin a concentration practice, as it's called. But it is best to choose one point, one anchor, wherever you feel the breath most naturally, whether it's the nostrils, the chest, the upper back, or the belly. And just observe the breath entering the body and exiting the body. And see if you can start to notice the different portions of the breath as well. Like the very, very beginning of the breath as it rises, that momentary pause between inhalation and exhalation. And then the exhalation itself. And see if you can just follow the breath, follow one breath to completion. Just one breath all the way through. From the very beginning, that slight pause, and the exhalation, and that quiet pause at the end. And as you find your mind wandering, as it naturally will, it does not mean that you can't meditate or you weren't meant to. It is a skill, and like any other skill, as you notice your mind wandering to a thought, a fantasy, a to-do list, you know, just smile to yourself and realize that this noticing is the very essence of the beginnings of a meditative practice. And then gently, kindly, and compassionately return to the breath and body. Just notice that your mind has wandered. Oh, my mind has wandered. Smile. As I breathe in, ever mindfully I breathe in. As I breathe out, ever mindfully I breathe out. It's just that simple. Breathing in, ever mindful I'm aware of the breath entering my body. Breathing out, ever mindful I'm aware of air exiting my body. Just remember that this is not a breathing exercise. It's just being present for whatever's right here, right now. Allowing the breath to take its own rhythm and cadence, and training of our minds to concentrate. This is the foundation of a traditional Buddhist practice. In, out.